they say that everything that goes up must come down. In this lesson, you'll learn how to descend a Boeing 737 so you arrive at a specific location and altitude simultaneously. This is very important if you want to get an airplane designed for fast flying to slow down and descend to the spot from which you start your approach into the airport. Before I turn control over to you, I want to confirm that you've read the ground school material for this lesson. I'm relying on you to understand some important calculations and concepts in order to make this work. If you want to start over, press escape. Otherwise, the airplane is all yours. As mentioned in the briefing, you can hand fly this lesson or use the autopilot. In either case, you need to be proficient at controlling the airplane or proficient at using the autopilot. Either way, you're the pilot in command from here on out. Here's what we'll do in this lesson. We're tracking outbound from the Spokane VOR. When we reach Whitrow intersection, you'll slow the plane to 250 knots. At Swak intersection, you'll be able to pick up Payne VOR. You'll track inbound on the 255 degree course and begin your descent to cross Payne VOR precisely at 8,000 feet. We'll monitor the descent and make adjustments so you cross the VOR as instructed. At that point, you'll make a turn toward the east and then intercept and fly the SeaTac runway 16 left ILS approach. We're at Whitrow, or 103 DME from Spokane. So slow the airplane to 250 knots while maintaining flight level 280. Try reducing the power to about 35% N1 and use trim to make maintaining your altitude easier. Readjust your power as needed once you're at 250 knots. As we fly toward our descent point, you want to calculate our descent rate to start us toward crossing Payne VOR at 8,000 feet. As I mentioned in the ground school, we'll use the 3-to-1 rule, where we'll fly 3 miles for every 1,000 feet you descend. So we subtract 8,000 from 28,000 and drop the last 3 digits. That's 20. Multiply by 3, and that tells us to start our descent at 60 DME from Payne. And because we're at 28,000 feet, I guess we can call this higher math. As for our descent rate, we'll multiply our ground speed by 6. So we take our approximate ground speed of 375 knots, multiply by 6 to get 2,250. So our 2 key numbers are to start descending at 60 DME and at a rate of 2,250 feet per minute. Before we begin our descent, we also want to set up our radios. Press Shift 2 to bring up the radio stack. We'll tune 3 stations. Change Nav 1 to 110.6. Change Nav 1 Standby to 110.3. Change Nav 2 to 115.5. Press Shift 2 again. Our descent point will start at about 130 DME from Spokane. We've changed Spokane VOR to Nav 2, so watch the DME in the RMI and continue flying your current heading. I anticipate receiving Payne VOR in a few miles, so closely watch the HSI for station reception. You want to start your descent at 60 DME, which is also 130 DME from Spokane. So you need to move fast when you receive the VOR. There's 60 DME, so start your descent to 8,000 feet at about 2,250 feet per minute. You may need to reduce power a bit to keep the airplane at an indicated airspeed of 250 knots. I'd suggest setting the power to about 35% N1. Also, start tracking inbound on the 255 degree course to Payne. Our goal from here is to cross over the VOR right at 8,000 feet. As we descend, your main job, beside flying the airplane of course, is to anticipate where you need to be when you pass through each flight level. So our next goal is to pass through flight level 260 at about 54 DME. Okay, there's 26,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. As we approach flight level 250, let's do some mental math to monitor our progress. We'll be at 25,000 feet, and we're going to 8,000. So 25 minus 8 is 17. Times 3 is 51. So we can check for 51 DME as we pass through flight level 250. Try to be within 1 mile of your target at each check. How are you doing? Okay, there's 25,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. As we pass through each 2,000-foot block, I'll monitor your progress and offer some suggestions for adjusting your descent. Okay, there's 24,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. As we approach flight level 230, let's do some more mental math to monitor our progress. We'll be at 23,000 and we're going to 8,000. So 23 minus 8 is 15. Times 3 is 45. So we'll check for 45 DME as we pass through flight level 230. Okay, there's 23,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. Okay, there's 22,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. Okay, there's 20,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. Okay, there's 18,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. Okay, there's 16,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. Okay, there's 14,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. Okay, there's 12,000. You appear to be on a good descent profile. You're within 2,000 feet of your assigned altitude, so make your last correction to level off at 8,000 feet before crossing the VOR. Remember that at 8,000 feet, the DME will read about 1.2 when you're geographically over the VOR. You're over the VOR now. Good job. Okay, let's fly a simple ILS approach into SeaTac. I'll talk you through it, but use all the skills you've learned in the instrument lessons. Slow down to 200 knots indicated airspeed. Start a left turn to a heading of 130 degrees. The skills you learned in the previous ATP lesson will serve you well here. I'll let you do the flying with only minimal instruction. Your job now is to get us on the ground safely. Descend and maintain 5,000 feet until established on the approach. Maintain 200 knots indicated airspeed. There's the glide slope coming in. Capture and fly the glide slope to decision height. Be sure to configure the aircraft for landing. The quick checklist for landing is gear down, flaps to 30, slow to VREF or 150 knots, set auto brakes to 3, arm the spoilers. Too high. Reduce power. As we cross the threshold here, smoothly reduce power to idle. Now flare to a 3-degree nose-up pitch. Press and hold F2 to initiate your thrust reversers. Press F1 to disengage the thrust reversers and let the auto brakes bring you to a stop. Slow down. Slow down. Good job. You're ready to move on to the next lesson. I can tell you're working hard at this, but I suggest taking the first 2 lessons again before moving on to the last lesson and the check ride.